Hello and welcome to At Brookings. I'm Gigi Hinton. President Obama has 6 months in now as our chief executive. But how does his job performance during this time period compare to the 5 gents who preceded him in office? Governance Studies Director Darrell West explains with a look at a new Brookings report how we're doing, a composite index of global and national trends. Then, senior fellow Michael O'Hanlon tells us why Americans should be concerned about recent elections in Kurdistan. And the man on the street talks about President Obama and his job performance these first 6 months. We'll have all that next at Brookings.
This is At Brookings, a review of news and events for the week of July 27th, 2009.
How well has President Obama performed since he was sworn in 6 months ago? And how do his actions compare to our last 5 presidents at the same point in their terms? A Brookings study, How We're Doing, a composite index of global and national trends, makes those comparisons, as Governance Studies Director Darrell West explains.
We tried to look at 2 to 3 dozen different indicators of general well-being, like how many armed conflicts is America in right now. Turns out the answer is Obama actually has fewer conflicts around the world than many of his past presidents. We look at world poverty, kind of looking at whether that has gotten better or worse over time. And surprisingly, the good news is the number of people in abject poverty living on $1 a day actually has dropped significantly, in part because India and China are making so much progress. So we're trying to track how the U.S. government is doing. We're going to track this on a quarterly basis, so every 3 months we will look at how we're doing in education, healthcare, international affairs, and a variety of other indicators.
Kurdistan is an oil-rich autonomous region in northern Iraq. Earlier this week, the Kurdish people voted in regional elections. Senior fellow Michael O'Hanlon says what happened in Kurdistan matters to the U.S.
This is a part of Iraq that's thriving economically, that's relatively safe, and that, frankly, I don't think needs to concern Americans that much in terms of its internal dynamics. However, there is one big issue, which is how the Kurds get along with the rest of Iraq, because that actually is a concern, a problem that has the potential to reignite conflict, at which point all the progress we've seen from the surge could be jeopardized. And the question is, to what extent have the Kurdistan elections affected the likelihood that the Kurds will do a deal with their fellow Iraqis over issues like the city of Kirkuk, the oil fields around Kirkuk, and other disputed territories that the Kurds would like to bring up into that autonomous region of Kurdistan and essentially merge with that, essentially bring that into their own Kurdistan government, when the rest of the Iraqi political system doesn't want that and wants to keep those disputed lands in Iraq proper.
I think after President Obama's first 6 months in office, he's doing pretty well.
I think he's done pretty well.
In the U.S., he has improved our economy.
So all in all, I think he's doing a relatively good job, so a solid B+. That's what I think.
At Brookings is produced by the Brookings Institution. To learn more about the issues discussed on At Brookings, visit our website at brookings.edu.